What's up, everyone? Welcome back to Talkltagon here, episode 17. This week, we're looking over UFC Fight Night, UFC Vegas 107 from this past Saturday, which was supposed to be headlined by Macy Barber and Aaron Blanchfield, but we'll get into that. Some chaos throughout the week and even on Fight Night. But overall, we had a very short fight card. But it was
Yeah,
solid. It wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad.
it was
There
okay.
was some highlights. There were some highlights for a UFC Apex card where we don't, expect a lot.
Yeah,
We got some decent stuff. And most of it honestly was on the prelims, so that's good.
yeah, I know. The very, very
But
short prelim.
yeah, pretty short. So we're gonna get into that, but I wanted to note a couple little things. So there were originally 12 fights on this card. There was, I believe, 2 cancellations. One fighter got moved to next week with a new opponent, which is Gustafsson will take on Chaos Williams. He got moved to next
Sure.
week, and then technically Macy Barber also missed weight, but they were going to fight, and then they didn't. Got canceled as it was about to start, basically. So
Yeah,
we'll talk about that a little later
literally.
when we get to it. But that was crazy. So, man, what a weird week in the UFC. It felt like I watched the weigh-ins and all that, and it just felt like a disaster after disaster. Everything was getting canceled. Everything was getting like I don't know. It was just like, oh my god, is this card even gonna make it
Yeah,
to Saturday? And it barely did. By a string,
barely.
we made it to Saturday. Just a quick, I guess, thoughts and reactions on the actual week of the fight being just a disaster.
I
What do you
do.
guys think?
I want to input this is that Max told me to send him the pics like on Friday, I think it was, and he was like, it's a short ass card. I'm like, he's lying. He's got it. I went on verdict and I went to the prelims. 4 fucking fights. We
Yeah,
had 4 fights on the goddamn prelims. Like, what
yeah,
is that? That's not an appetizer. That's not something to fill somebody up. And then we get to the main card, and it's like, okay, things are kind of going well. Things are pretty good. And then the main event canceled. It's like, when was the last time that happened? I've never felt
Ever.
as an MMA fan, or maybe for other promotions, but for a UFC fan, I've never felt a main event a co-main event, canceled. The third fight on the card, opener of the card, canceled. Doesn't matter. But the main event,
Yeah.
if that arena
The
was
main
full,
event.
like what Laura Sanko said, if that arena was full, it would have been a riot. Everybody would have been fighting. We would have gotten a main event just from the crowd itself. But that's the thing that's scary about the whole situation, is that thank goodness they were in the UFC Apex. But my
hey.
God,
Who thought we'd ever say
I
that?
feel for everybody.
Yeah,
I never
true.
thought it would be a good
No,
thing that we're in the Apex. So I guess
never
it
thought.
comes in handy every once in a while, right? Yeah. I know, bro. Crazy situation. The 4 fight prelims was just insane. I think we lost Brady, but he'll be back. Was just crazy. How, dude? Yeah, I'm like putting together the graphics, and I'm like, which Brady has. Hopefully, he's back. And there was only 4 fights. I'm like, this is so short. It feels weird. I'm like, this looks like a main card, but even that, it looks short. Normally, the prelims are like, I have to squeeze them all into one page, and I'm like, this can barely fit. All right, we're back. Welcome back, Brady. But yeah, dude, the 4 fight prelims. What I hated about it is they didn't change the time slot whatsoever. So the time slot was still the same, bro. So I'm like, we're just seeing 4 fights in like 2.5 hours. I'm like, bro, it's like I'm watching boxing. Thankfully, there was some actual boxing on, because that was actually more entertaining than a lot of these UFC
exactly.
fights.
Yeah, I didn't check out the boxing at night. I didn't check out any of the boxing that night, but because I was like, the Pacers game is on, the Dodgers game
Yeah.
is on, the UFC fights are on. There's so much going on a Saturday. So we got to stay busy. It's good that have entertainment watching it. But you get to that main event.
Exactly.
It's 8 o'clock. For the West Coast, we're like, this is
Yeah.
it. This is dinner. This is it right here. And then we get fucked over.
Yeah.
I'm still mind boggled off of it, because I'm like, How did that all happen? Like, and then we get the story of the aftermath, why they pulled out, what happened and
Yeah.
whatnot, and speedy recovery. Hope everything is going well, because I'm not gonna make fun of anybody or I fucking joke
Yeah.
about Caesars at all, because I've dealt with people who have had them, and I
Yeah.
don't want to be that type of
They're
douchebag.
not. Yeah.
But it's just so it's so crazy, because it's like, how do you go from like you're standing right there at the walkout, and then you turn around, you go to your locker room, and then all of this chaos happens. You miss weight. The whole fight week, everyone's saying you're gonna pull out, you're gonna pull out, and then you pull out 2 minutes before the fight's supposed to start. Never seen, like, in my opinion, John Jones has found himself a new exit. Like, there is no way he's gonna be like, oh, I'll fight Tom Aspinall 2 minutes before the fight's supposed to start. Ugh, my stomach hurts, and then goes, takes a dump. Fucking, I can't do this anymore. Leaves the arena.
Oh,
I need to get Pepto-Bismol.
Hey.
Brady.
sorry.
bad,
Yeah,
bro.
it just kept cutting out, and I couldn't hear anything. So if that happens again, I apologize. I'll try to fix it.
You weren't missing much
I
if Rami was
I actually
talking.
think I know the issue, so I think we might be okay now. So hopefully we are, but if not, I'll be in and out. Hopefully it doesn't happen.
We were just
while
talking.
I'm in the middle of talking.
We were just talking about pulling out, but we don't have a condom sponsor, sadly, to plug that. But it's perfectly fine.
No, we have protein mushroom bar. Go to www.eatshroombar.com. Use code
Flawless.
Bodyslam at checkout for 25% off your first order. How about that?
Beautiful.
But yeah,
Was that John Anik or freaking Brady with that ad read? Absolutely perfect.
it was
Segue.
a solid little prelim card here, though. We'll get into it before I die again on stream. So, yeah, we again, short one, as you mentioned, Robbie. 4 freaking fights, only 4. I don't think we've ever seen a shorter prelim. And to answer your previous question, no, this has never happened where a main event was canceled ever. Obviously, main events have been canceled like before the card started, but
Man, those fucking fight predictions fucking suck. Awful,
yeah,
awful.
Speak for yourself, my boy.
yeah, it was a rough
Oh,
time for
God.
myself and Rami,
was good it was
especially
short
Rami
one.
this week. Yeah, we didn't have enough time to start cooking.
Exactly.
Why did I bet against the twerking? If the
I know.
twerking is fighting, I gotta go for him. You know what I mean? I guess gotta go for it.
I'm like, bro, the
Well, not
disrespect.
anymore. He's warm now.
Yeah,
Worm.
yeah. The worm. Yeah, he
Worm.
said he stopped working now because he's mature.
No one ever. That's the thing. No one
He
ever.
does that
No one
behind
ever
closed
stops twerking. No one ever stops. They
only
always
openly.
say they do.
They
Exactly.
only stop openly doing it, but we know
You
what
do
no
it in the
one's
shower.
done.
You do it in your bedroom. You do it in the kitchen. You do it in the pool. Doesn't matter. You just do it.
Exactly.
That's
Shout
what
out
she
to
said.
Levitt. Not shout out to Dos Santos though. That was a rough one.
Oh,
I mean, at
no,
least she was trying hard.
no. Shout out to Dos Santos.
Yeah, shout out to
Because-
Dos Santos, but more shout out to her opponent.
Shout out to both of them because this was a good start. I'll be fully honest. If you asked me what would be fight of the night on this card, it wasn't this.
Yeah.
This would even be the second, third, or fourth choice of fight of the night on this card. But wow, what a fight! Alice Ardeline defeated Riane Dos Santos via unanimous decision at 29-28, 29-28, and 30-27. Hell of a fight. Round 1, Santos started out hot. Alice began to take over. And there was a lot of action, though. A lot of action in round 1. Nothing too crazy, but they were like going for it. So that was, always positive. At least they weren't just standing around, looking at each other. Round 2, another all action round. They were just throwing hands. It was really fun to see. But it felt like Alice was just a little step ahead. Santos seemed to start to get tired towards the end of round 2 there. Round 3. Now they're both wearing the damage. They were both bruised up, cuts, bleeding a little bit. Alice had a little cut beside her eye. I think Santos' nose was bleeding. Ran into her mouth. She looked all gross. Santos finally did get a takedown, though, at the end of the third round when she was chasing the entire fight, but it did get reversed. They got back up to the feet. Both women just showed heart and toughness throughout this. Great chins on them, great fight, but Alice was just a step ahead and got it done. And this fight did get the fight of the night bonus. So, first fight of the night, prelim gets the bonus. Off to a hot start here, but not for
Yeah.
our predictions because we all picked Dos Santos and she took the L. But hey, tough fight.
You
Very
win some, you
fun and
lose
tough
some.
fight.
Yeah, this is
Definitely.
one of those fights where neither of them had a UFC win yet, so I was like having a tough time picking. But I
Yep.
thought Dos Santos was going to be able to get it done. But Alice, dude, looked the best she's ever looked in there for sure.
When in doubt, pick
Alice
the
kept,
Brazilian.
Alice kept popping that jab so hard throughout the first and second round that all you see from Dos Santos' face was just red. Like it was matching the color of her hair. It was just all red on her fucking upper lip and nose. I was like, my goodness, what did I do by picking them? And I don't mean that disrespectfully, but I was just like, wow, like heading into the fight, you're like Dos Santos, they're gonna win because
Yeah.
it feels like a trend in MMA. Like if you have Santos or Dos Santos in your name, you're fucking winning. But Mike Alice came in here. She was hungry for the win. They were both hungry for the win, and she
Yeah.
just did enough to finally walk away with that. We did all pick Dos Santos because we obviously, assumed that with her stats and her record and everything that she was gonna walk in here and make it probably an easy night for herself. But it was a pretty good war. First two rounds,
Yep.
honestly, I gave it to Alice, and then last round, it could have honestly gone Dos Santos' way for it to be her round, but at the end of the day, Alice won, and it was a good one. I'm glad they got Fight of the Night honors and everything. I will say for a later fight that we do mention on the main card, I am shocked that the bonuses didn't go to someone certain way, but other than that, I'm glad that these two got the bonus, and hopefully next time they're on a prelim, it's not a 4-fight card, so where they have to, open it up and have to go to war just to be able to make, time actually keep moving forward. Because 4 fights for 2.5 hours is not the way anybody wants to spend their Saturday, unless you're a boxing fan, which I'm not.
Yep. Hey, yeah, the boxing was better than the MMA, dude. It was crazy. Shout out to Plant. He got upset. His opponent, I'm blanking on his name, fucked up, even though he won. And then
Yeah, I watched
Jermel, I think, came
Charlo.
back after a long layoff and won. So, I mean, with that being said, there was a lot more star power in the boxing one, but I definitely preferred that. But hey, this card, if everyone fought like these two ladies, this card would have been way better, 100%.
Little boxing tangent here because I'm just curious. But weren't Charlo and Plant going to fight or did fight?
Yeah,
want to fight?
another case of boxing doing these bullshit tune-up fights. I'm like, a lot of these fighters, they don't give it any respect to these other guys, and I'm like, why do the
Then they
tune-up
lose, and
fight
now it's
when
not
you
gonna
can make
happen.
more money? Yeah, versus the tougher opponent when you could lose to the bum, and then now it makes you look bad. When the guy was never a bum in reality, but just the way they market it, they're like, oh, these two are gonna fight each other after they beat these guys, and then one of them ends up losing. We saw that with Ryan Garcia losing, and now
We saw that.
we see it here.
We saw that as well with Anthony Joshua losing as well.
Yeah, 100%. Yep. So
That's the one. That's the one like thing that's boxing that I always found weird. Like they will like not outright say, "Oh, you're fighting a bum," but they'll outright be like, "This is a tune-up fight for you."
yeah,
Like
It's
I
very
remember
odd.
when the build to the first fight between Tyson Fury and Deontay Wilder. Fury had I think he was fighting for the championship. His opponent in the first round literally gazed off his eyebrow, chunked it wide open, and they
yeah,
almost had to call off the fight. So Tyson had to keep playing it safe the whole time.
100%, bro.
Let's say if it was called off that fight and then he loses right then, we would have never seen Usyk beat him. We would have never seen the trilogy between the Deontay Wilder fight. They just need to give us these fights already. You know what I mean? Stop
Yeah.
holding us off. Just give us the fights and don't fucking bully. Like you're just doing this to us the whole time. And then when we're about to finally say, "Hey, this is it," you just stop. And that's not it. That's not good.
Yeah,
That's not good.
If you're gonna do a tune-up, make sure it's a tune-up, not some actual guy that's actually.
And that's the one positive with like UFC. Like for instance, let's just say Conor McGregor's coming back. It's not like Dana's gonna be like, "Oh, let's give Conor a tune-up before a big fight." No, he's coming back for a big fight. He's not gonna fight the unranked fucking guy. He's gonna fight in the top 5 or top 10. Like it's crazy. I don't understand boxing in that matter. But
Yeah, and with the UFC, it's like there's not really that many tune-up fights, though. I'm like, if you're gonna be in
Yeah,
the UFC, it's like you have to be actually winning, unless you're
yeah,
like,
and that too.
well, unless you're a commentator, and
That's
they
what I was
might
gonna
keep
say
you
though.
around for
Like
a while.
Dana would never even be like, "Oh, there's a tune-up fight on my roster. Like there's a
Yeah,
tune-up fight. There's a bum
for
fighter."
real.
No, he always says, "If you're the best in the world, if you're in the UFC." Like he always says that. So it's crazy in boxing. They're like
For real.
fine with like saying one of their talent is a bum. Like it's kind of
I know, bro.
crazy.
They'll be like, "This is setting up for this next fight." I'm like, "Bro, well, how about he actually fights the guy? How about you hype
And
up
then
the
the
guy who's
bum
actually
wins.
fighting?"
So it's
Yeah,
like the now
exactly.
it
So it's
was
not
the
a
star of
shock.
the bum. Yeah,
Yeah, exactly, dude. So typical
yeah,
boxing, not like the UFC is doing much better lately. Cough John Jones and Tom. But
yeah.
yeah. Shout out to Caleb Plant and Charlo and the guy who beat Caleb Plant. I'm blanking on his name. Fuck. Casual.
I,
Yeah, but
I didn't watch it, so I wouldn't know.
speaking about some boxing, how about Balaji Oki? He looked solid with the hands
Oh yeah.
on Saturday night. We all picked him, so that was good. But he did defeat Michael Aswell via unanimous decision 29-28 across the board. Aswell was coming in on short notice, so fair to him. He was a Dana White Contender Series guy who looked solid on the Contender Series. He got a crack here, like I said, short notice. But Balaji Oki just looks like a monster, probably hits like a monster. A scary looking guy.
Bro,
Both were throwing
big for the
big though.
division.
Yeah, huge. Both were throwing big very early in the round one. Oki's power advantage seemed to shine through though. Um, Momentum continued to swing back and forth in round one. They were just going back and forth. But then round two started a little similar, but Oki started pressuring, throwing more heat. Aswell has a great chin, though. Like he was getting cracked and just taking it. He never fell like that. Wobbled a little bit. But
Mhm.
round three, much of the same. Oki's power just backing Aswell up, making him a little less active. And again, yes, Aswell was just taking the shots.
For real.
Um,
Tough.
he didn't. Oki just walked him down towards the end, had him against the cage, just beating his ass to say it bluntly. And Aswell was just, I don't want to say just taking it, but he wasn't, he wasn't falling. So that was
Yeah.
good. He has one hell of a chin.
Yeah. He
Definitely
was
has,
fighting
especially
back.
on short notice. Yeah.
Yeah. The power difference is just huge, dude. And like the size difference is crazy. Like Aswell was coming up in weight because of the short notice. And then Oki's
Aswell
massive.
I just feel like Aswell got hit and was like, fuck, I don't want to get hit again. So he's just trying
Yeah.
to play it safe. Because, man, Oki was
Yeah.
putting everything into those shots.
Yeah, dude. They were both throwing hands, but yeah, dude, it was clear Oki was just the more powerful guy and more dangerous. I'm shocked that Aswell was able to take so many hits, dude. He's never been finished, so it makes sense why he hasn't,
Plus,
because that is one
I
tough
want to
guy.
ask, wasn't this Aswell's UFC debut as well? Like he won the
Yes.
Contender Series,
Yep.
I
Yeah.
He
believe.
didn't even
And
win
then
it. He actually lost it, but
He
they
didn't
gave
win,
him
he
a
my
lost.
apologies. Yeah, and he went to Fury FC, and
Yes.
then he came back and came to the UFC. Yeah, and then to be put into a fight like this, it's like it felt like it was like a lose-lose situation. Like if you
Yeah.
walk out of this with a win, here's a contract, and here's some more fights. But Oki, he won his UFC, he won his UFC debut. Lost to Chris Duncan afterwards.
Yeah.
And then
That was
he had to find a way to bounce back. So this was definitely the best fight for him to get like in a like we were talking about like tune-up fighters, like you know what I mean. But like more
yeah.
so like for unranked guys, like you need that type of person in
Short
to be
notice. Yeah.
in a short notice fight to just go in there and just bang. You know what I mean? Just bang
Yeah.
it out. And that's what Oki did. It was fun to watch him. I love his defense, especially because not a lot of guys like want to when they get into the UFC. A lot of guys love to just use the kicks and use a jab, and if they get taken down in the back, they just stay there the whole time. Oki is not that type of guy. Hopefully, we don't see that a lot from him in the future. So it was nice to see him get that win, get bounce back from the Chris Duncan loss, and to see what he does in the future. It was a short prelim, so we really don't know what's going to happen with a lot of these guys because the future. It could be like Oki. I could see him back in the octagon maybe 2 months or so. Later on with the next two fights, we could see these guys back in the octagon pretty soon. But it's more so about not letting them be on a short prelim like especially, and getting this fixed because we don't want to deal with a situation like this ever again. A 4-fight prelim, I'd rather off myself.
Yeah, it was just ridiculous though. I was like, I'm guessing the time will change. I mean, it kind of started later, but then they were still talking for like 30 or 40
Dude,
minutes.
oh my
Bro. I'm
God,
like,
that was
get
what I was
going,
like.
bro. For
But
real, I'm
yeah,
like, at least just start it later, bro. I'm like, who gives a? I'm like, we don't want to see you guys just chit chat when it says fight start at this time, bro.
for real.
They're
But
normally
yeah,
pretty good about it. Not this time though.
Balaji Oki was supposed to fight. He was supposed to take on Markel Medeiros, who got sick and had to pull out of the fight. But he will now fight Mark Choininski, who's making his debut next weekend. So he's already booked for next weekend against this debuting guy who is from Anthony Pettis' gym. So we'll see how that goes.
Hopefully, yeah. Hopefully he's feeling better. Short.
Yeah, not fun to get sick and be like.
Oh, so he'll be fighting on
Can't
the
fight.
Usman Buckley card.
O'Malley. Pay-per-view.
Oh, okay. This weekend. Wait, is it this weekend or?
I
Well,
guess,
this
yeah,
upcoming Saturday. Yeah, this upcoming Saturday. Yeah.
Yeah. Because we said next week, and I'm thinking.
Yeah, I said next week. Yeah.
We're still in
That's on me.
Yeah, in my brain, I'm still on Saturday for UFC. So yeah, this upcoming Saturday he'll fight on the pay-per-view card. So we'll see that. But yeah, Balaji Oki looked good. Congrats to him. Bounce back, getting a win, and hopefully he can, keep on this track. As for Michael Aswell, maybe UFC gives him another chance with a full camp. Maybe that might be better.
Yeah, and at a different weight class.
I would like to see that a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, if he's at 145, I feel like he'll be much up. Not up against a stack card, dude. It's like
chin up a weight and still has a chin down a weight. I think he'll do pretty well.
For real, he's just a banger. Even if he doesn't always win, he'll bring a fight.
Yeah, that was solid stuff there. And then we moved on to Kurt Holloway versus Jordan Levitt. Jordan Levitt making his return after 2 years away. He defeated Kurt Holloway via Anaconda choke in round 1. This was
come on, guys.
Didn't last long. I literally put, this didn't last long. Jordan went for a takedown almost immediately. Holloway was on his back, tried to get up, and then reverse position into some submissions, but didn't work. Jordan slammed him whipped him around so quickly and slammed him on his head, and he does have a slam knockout to his name. He was looking for it again, but he didn't get it.
For real, that would be nuts.
Turning him into an Anaconda choke and got it. Choked Kurt out inside 2 minutes.
Out cold.
Myself and Rami picked Kurt. Matt picked Jordan Levitt. Max gets the win. So Max,
yes, dude.
You got
it. I don't know why you guys were doubting him, bro. I'm like, I love Kurt, but man, dude, he's almost 40 and Jordan is improving. And he's only lost to Chase Hooper and Patty in his last few fights, as his last few losses. And those are some not the worst guys to lose to. So I was hoping that he'd improve. He took a lot of time off, so he looked amazing, bro. This is almost, dare I say, Kamzat-esque, bro. 0 strikes absorbed for Jordan Levitt, and only 1 strike landed. But
1 kick, right?
Quick finish, yeah. So easy work for my boy Jordan Levitt, dude. And hopefully he comes back quick. Not so much of a layoff, dude. I'm like, we haven't seen him in forever, so. Yeah, he says he's more mature now that he's a father. So let's get this activity, bro. Get that bread up for the fam. We know the UFC doesn't like to pay a lot, so, you have to be active. So, unfortunately, get active, bro. And he has a great personality, so the more you can show that, the better. And I feel like the more he fights, the more money he can make outside of the octagon, because he's actually a funny dude.
Yeah,
he needed a time off. He definitely needed, especially after the whole Patty feud and then the Chase Hooper fight.
I in the face,
and it's working in the face exactly. I feel like he just needed that big break. He did karate combat for a moment, and then went back to training and recovery.
He looks good.
And I honestly, I thought those 2 fights were gonna definitely be big factor. Those 2 losses would be a big factor, and then you can just go on this big losing streak. Kurt was also in a way as well, dealing with his own losses. So I thought going into this one, they're gonna use the rage and they're gonna just go into like almost like a fight of the night situation like Dos Santos and Alice did. But instead, this Jordan was just a monster.
For
Like,
real.
and I want to see more of him, because the thing is, he can keep winning, he can keep improving himself and getting back up there and everything. No, I don't count him out whatsoever. 2 losses, who cares? Like, you came back in here, Hamza Chimaev-esque type of fight, and you strangle your opponent. I want to see more of that. And by the way, that slam knockout that he got was 5 years ago. If he would have gotten it 5 years later, I would have said he has to make it a trend. Every 5 years, just slam somebody on the ground. Do it to your son. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But like you just got to keep it going. But I'm very happy for him. It's good to see him back in the octagon. Calm down. It's good to see him back in the octagon and everything. But
bro, I'm looking at this. It's his birthday today. He just turned 30. Shout out to Jordan Levitt.
Oh, happy birthday!
Wow.
I was gonna be like,
I
think he's 29 still. I'm like, he's not even 30. I'm like, wait, I guess he is.
What a crazy coincidence!
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
It's his birthday. That's actually scary.
What the fuck? Yeah, I was like, that's so weird, dude. I'm like, wait a minute, June 2nd. I'm like, that's today. Shout out to watching over. Happy birthday.
he's watching over his shoulders like a Shinigami and like, you better fucking snap birthday fact.
He's like, don't forget, guys. Fun fact of the day, my birthday.
But like Jordan Levitt, shout out to him. Honestly, I picked Kurt Holloway because I thought he would do what Jordan did. So I thought he'd go and initiate the takedowns immediately. I thought he would go for the grappling and he would, try and choke him out. He's a great jiu-jitsu artist. His wife is a 2-time IBJJF world champion. He has his own gym where they do jiu-jitsu. His kids do it. He has the freaking tattoo on his back. Like, they all do jiu-jitsu. He's very good at it. He's very good off his back as well. So I thought even when he was taken down, he'll, reverse this and try for a submission of his own. But Jordan Levitt apparently is Mr. Jiu-Jitsu because he just dominated, didn't let Kurt do anything, and then put him in an anaconda and choked him out. So this is not how I thought it was going to go.
I'm like, it makes me wonder. I'm like, did he improve this much in that time off, or is Chase Hooper and Patty just that good where they're able to submit this guy with relative? I mean, there was some scrambles, but I mean, they were able to get him out of there in round 1 and round 2. So I mean, those two are the resume is looking better and better with that win.
I'm not down Patty. Patty's good.
Or Chase at this point, bro.
Chase is getting up there.
Chase needs some. Yeah, Chase needs some more top level guys, but both of them, the resumes look a lot better with this one.
Yeah, for sure. So Jordan Levitt, he said he's back. He feels good. He feels like he's rejuvenated. I think he was having some issues with losing. He said he didn't feel like he was meant to be a fighter, but now he feels like he's a fighter now.
He's like, maybe I am a fighter.
So that's good.
I'm like, maybe, bro. You just choke that dude out. Cool.
Yeah.
maybe.
So the rejuvenated Jordan Levitt looks like he's doing pretty good. Hopefully we can see him back soon because that was very fast. He didn't take any damage. I mean, to be honest, he didn't really do any damage other than a choke. So,
get him back out quick. His hands should be feeling fine, no damage. Face should be feeling fine, no damage.
Yeah.
So turn around quick, dude.
Yeah, and at this point in the card, hilariously enough, we're like 2 hours in, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
It's like what are we doing? 3 fights. 1 fight just lasted 2 minutes. The others were only 15. So in theory, it should be like 32 minutes, and we're 2.5 hours. It's like, what is happening?
That's just I was just so confused, bro. I'm like, 6-fight main card, 4-fight prelim. I'm like, what is going on here?
And it got even worse. So
got even worse. Yeah.
Oh my god.
I had to be reminded. I'm like, God, Lee, not this.
For real.
But yeah, it was certainly a time. But we did have a prelim headliner here. Alan Nascimento defeated Rafael Fialho via unanimous decision in 29-28 across the board. Round 1, Fialho went for a takedown almost immediately, had Nascimento up against the cage, then eventually got the takedown, had top control for the rest of the round. He had a few submission attempts in there, but couldn't get the finish. Nothing crazy. Round 2, Fialho went for the takedown again, but he jumped the back too high, fell, lost control, and then Nascimento took the top control, and he maintained it for the rest of the round. So it was like the same exact round, just the opposite person. So it was definitely 1-1 going into the third round. Nascimento did land some good elbows while he was in top control, though. Nothing damaging. I don't think he got him, but landed some decent elbows. Round 3, again, right back to the ground. Filio was on top for the first 2 minutes, but was reversed, and then Nascimento took control and kept control for the rest of the round. And this was not as boring as it might sound. They were doing solid on the ground. Good transitions, submission attempts. Nascimento was throwing in strikes. Filio, I feel like, didn't really try to get a finish. He was more looking for a submission rather than ground and pound. But Nascimento was trying for the ground and pound, and I think that's what made the difference here.
Yeah.
And he got the 29-28 victory. Yeah, entertaining. Not like anything crazy entertaining, but it was entertaining nonetheless. Nothing terrible. It wasn't like we're just sitting there bored watching two guys roll around. But
yeah,
it was, for me, I'm a grappling fan, so I was like, hey, this is pretty good. And at least they're trying. They're trying to do something.
Yeah.
So that was solid.
I agree. Not the most entertaining, but for what it was, very much entertaining, where it's like that could have been much worse if you just look at the stats and you just see, okay, almost all of it was just on the ground, control time for one fighter or the other. That doesn't seem very entertaining, but when you actually watched it, it was actually, they definitely made it.
Basically, this was a good grappling match and a bad MMA fight.
Yeah, exactly. Well, they were changing positions a lot, so it was fun to like try to keep up, but I mean, not much damage or there was like a few tight submissions, but nothing crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it was something, and Allen gets the win. Looked decent.
For real, dude. Let's go. 3 in a row for my predictions. Let's go.
No crazy damage. Like I said, they were just mostly grappling, so maybe he could get a quick turnaround there. And we end off the prelims with myself and Rami tied at 1-3, and Max at 3-1, taking the lead.
I did want to say this.
Looking brutal, Matt and Rami.
I looked at the winning percentage, the percentages of each of us. So Brady, like for his record and everything, is 57%. Max is 61%.
Okay.
I am 64%.
Okay.
So therefore, I'm still kind of great, because
exactly.
I'm still kind of great, So hold on.
The hat is back. Oh,
the hat's back, bitches.
Shame
over
this guy.
Every
the 1-3 record, bringing out the hat. Oh,
me and myself and Max have over 200 fights picked, and we're still over 50%. I will 100% take that. I will gladly take that.
Bro, it's okay though, Rami. If you can get up to 100 fights and you're still winning, then we'll give you your credit. All right, just keep coming on the pod.
I got the credit. I got the credit. It's the hat.
Okay.
It's the fucking hat.
I'll be taking that hat once I get that. Like once I overtake it, I'm coming over there and take it. Once I overtake that percentage, I'll be tracking it. The minute it's 0.1 over, I'll be expecting that hat in the mail, or I'm coming to get it.
Oh man.
But we did have
shout out to Rami, bro. He came in here and he's taking names with his predictions. Even with this off week, he's still beating us. So
not this week. Not this week. We did have a solid prelim. It was okay. And then we had our main card, as you can see. Rami, the fall from grace was crazy.
The fall from grace. Oh, what do we say about the beginner's luck? It's over. These apex cards are what will get you. It's the real ball knowers only. These
and I'm saying this as someone who just had one more win than you on this call. Like,
I was about to say, like you kind of went -2 as well. Just because you had one more win, you still had 5 fucking losses, pal.
Come on, catch up to me. Come on.
You know it's elite MMA knowledge only when all 3 of us predictions, the best one is only 1 win over 500.
Yeah, real ball
elite ball knowledge only. All right, real fight knowledge.
Bet your house on our picks. But yeah, it was certainly a card. What was the card? So the opening fight was probably my most anticipated fight of the card. Ended up not being as good as some others, but this was what my going into it. I was like, I'm looking forward to this fight. Zachary Reese. We've seen him have crazy knockouts. We've also seen him get knocked out last time brutally.
Yeah.
And Dusko Todorovic, he is also a crazy brawler. He likes to strike. He likes to have fun. So I was excited for this one. So yeah, Zachary Reese defeated Dusko Todorovic via unanimous decision, 29-28 across the board. Round one, man, Reese kept leaving his neck out, and then Dusko was like taking the sub, but he just couldn't get it. He'd take the neck every single time. He's grabbing the neck. He's trying to lock it in, but he wasn't able to get it. Luckily for Reese, he was able to break away, but it was close. Reese landed some solid strikes at range, but he was eventually taken down. Dusko landed some strikes on the top to end the round. I thought he probably took round one there. Round two, Reese showed some better striking. He's kept allowing himself to get too close, and when he would get too close, Dusko would grab him and put him in a clinch. So if he just stayed back, that was my frustration here, especially as I picked Reese. So I was like, bro, just stay the fuck back and strike at range because it's working. And every time you crash in, he grabs you and tries for a submission or tries for a takedown. So that was a little annoying, but when he was at range, he was good. Dusko would clinch, push him against the cage. Eventually, they went back to the ground. Dusko was on top. Reese was able to get up. Round three, Reese looked good on the feet. In the third, Dusko was honestly not doing much at all in the third. He was just kind of getting hit. He'd throw a couple back every so often, but it wasn't in combination. It was more one strike, wait, one strike, and wait. Reese did get cut towards the end. I think it was actually from a headbutt, though. Pretty sure they like nicked heads when they were coming up and he cut him, but then the commentary said it was a punch. I'm pretty sure it was a headbutt, but they never showed a replay, so I don't know. But yeah, Reese was just striking and waiting for a counter strike, but Dusko wasn't throwing, so there wasn't much action towards the end of the third, but then I thought Reese took it just strictly because of striking. Like I said, when Dusko would take him down, he was looking for submissions, but he couldn't get it. He wasn't really ground and pounding. He wasn't striking much on the feet. So Reese was the more active fighter, I guess. But yeah, this was a little bit disappointing fight for me because, like I said, I was looking forward to it. And Reese, man, I said this on our live tweets that I put out on Bodyslam Net MMA or Bodyslam MMA. Check that out. Reese has potential, like really good potential. I see it in him. He's a tall, rangy, pretty stocky guy, and his striking is really good. But his grappling, though it's gotten better, it's not on the same level as these guys, but he's still confident in grappling for some reason. I'm like, just strike, because clearly your bread and butter is striking. So stay at distance, keep long, strike, and get the win that way. But he just obviously can't hear me through the TV, but he wasn't listening to me. He was not listening. And I was like, come on, dude. I can stand there and strike.
You weren't yelling loud enough, Brady. He needs to be able to hear
apparently
you.
Not. But damn. Like dude, I see in his striking and his movement, I'm like, dude, he's good, but he just doesn't. I don't know. His coaches could fix that for sure. It's something his coaches could fix. They just need to do it.
For real, bro. He's got that crazy frame, bro. It's like the one thing, though, when you're that tall, that neck is available. So that first round, dude, I was scared he was going to get submitted, bro.
He kept doing that. He kept leaning and putting his neck out. I'm like, stop, dude.
You're like, tuck that neck, bro. That long ass neck.
Just stand up straight. Quit fucking ducking down like that.
So yeah, dude, I definitely think that he had to go through a little bit of adversity in that round one, but afterwards he definitely improved, and I definitely think he took the fight after that.
Yeah, for sure. Solid stuff.
He definitely did. I did like at the end of round two how they were both staring at each other like all bloody and shit. I was just like, okay, this is kind of cool. But in third round, Reese definitely stepped it up and stepped up his game. He needed to, because in rounds 1 and 2 he wasn't landing the jab and he wasn't utilizing the clinch more whenever Dusko was having him. because usually most of these guys will, go for the knees to the body all the time. He wasn't. He was standing against the cage and like, you know what? I'm gonna preserve my energy. Let him, wear himself out. I would have just said fuck it and just gone against the ribs, because the more you attack that, it's like the situation with Bo Nickel. You keep those ribs. Round 2 comes. That guy's not going to want to wrestle you anymore. He's not going to want to go and clinch you or grapple you or try to pull you down. The whole time his stomach's going to be fucking hurting. But Reese, he has a lot of room to improve on. He has I'm glad he got the win, but he has a lot of room to improve on, and he has a lot of ways to take the next fight. If you go in a situation again where you have an opponent like Disco, and then you have to rely on the last round where you win it, and then everyone's like, oh, he got it from 2 rounds to 1. That's great and all, but you don't want to be in a situation where someone who is better at grappling and clinching and wrestling than Disco is, they pull you down, they're not going to let you back up. And then once that happens, we see what happens with most of these guys. Once you get the half guard, those elbows land, the referee's going to have no choice but to call it off. So I don't want to see that happen for Reese. I can't wait to see him fight next. But it was a good one. It was a pretty fun, wonky type of opener. It wasn't something that we're gonna always want to see, but it was like, you know what? I'll take this. It almost felt similar to Dos Santos and Alice, but they got the fight of the night bonus clearly, and these two got like a hey, good job type of bonus. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, pat on the back. Ass smack, whatever you want to enjoy.
Bro.
Yeah, I also did. Speaking of that fight of the night, I did forget to mention Jordan Levitt did get a performance bonus for his submission, so shout out to him.
Valid.
50K birthday.
Little birthday bonus.
Congrats to him.
50K cake.
But yeah, that'd be crazy. But yeah,
What type of cake?
Zach Reese, dude, you make a good point, Rami. When the clinch work, dude, he's so tall and long. When they're in that clinch, he could have just been spamming knees in that clinch, and he wasn't. So I think that would have helped him out if he would have did that, but he didn't. But he still got the win, so I guess no complaints there. He got the win, and he got us.
Yeah, we all picked
the win. And then Rami, a little rare occurrence here. We won and Max lost. We'll take that for our next one.
I bet if you told me that Caitlin Vieira played him in UFC 3 back in the day and she was nasty as fuck, I'm like, bro, if you're good at the UFC games, I just assume you're good in real life because those games are hard, especially online.
She used to kick my ass a lot. I would pick Joanna Jacek, and she'd pick herself. Every time she would pick herself. I'm like, come on, and beat my ass. One time we got like a good split decision, and I messaged her on Instagram like, "Is this you? Is this really you?" And then she messages back like a smiley face with a thumbs up. I'm like, I assume it's you. Then the username picks out, the character selection picks out. So it was pretty cool. But Kellen's a badass. Come on, like. I never want to hear any slander on her name, and that's minus my bias, of her kicking my ass on UFC. But she's so damn good. Like her grappling, it reminds me of Jasmine Jazadovicius. Like once she gets you to the ground, you're fucked. Like there's just no way of getting out of it. Macy's a great opponent too. She always puts a heart in it. Her elbows always slice people open. She's always going into the war and trying to get out of there, with one piece out of there. But this was a good fight. This was Brady. What were your thoughts on it?
Yeah, Machine Gun Macy Chiasson. Someone said she looked like Machine Gun Kelly, which was cracking me up. She kind of does. I thought the fight was solid. Round 1, Caitlin was leading the strikes in round 1. Macy would throw one back, but she just kept moving, and I was, why are you moving so much and not throwing? So that was a little annoying on Macy's part. She was like, I don't know. She just was more content on moving out of the way rather than fighting back. Round 2, early takedown for Caitlin to get on top. She stayed there for the rest of the round. Round 3, almost identical to round 2. Macy just couldn't get up once she was down. Caitlin did land some solid ground and pound. She made sure she wasn't stood up, kept on punching every time the ref would get close. They got back up, but Macy was taken right back down. Then she pushed her with the feet and like landed a nasty kick from the bottom that cut Caitlin. But Macy tried to finally go for a finish with like 10 seconds left, but obviously couldn't get it. She was screaming and yelling in her face and trying to throw punches. I was like, a little too late for that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mhm.
Kellen got the win via unanimous decision 29-28, 29-28, 30-27. So on one judge's scorecard, she won everything. I don't disagree with that.
Yeah, honestly.
Good.
As someone who even picked Macy, Vieira was just a better fighter for sure.
Yep.
Like sometimes I look at the frame and I'm like, okay, someone's 5'11" and she's pretty good. I'm like, all right, I'm feeling good about this pick. But Vieira showed that, bro, when you have the experience she has, dude, she's been in there against the best of the best. Pretty much every champion you could think of, almost a recent one, and potential future one with Kayla Harrison fighting soon for the belt. So yeah, Vieira just used her experience and made sure to overwhelm Chison. Or like you said, Brady, she was kind of content with being on defense. So Vieira's like, if you're gonna do that, I'll just pressure you, control you, outpace you, and get the win, dude. So yeah, Vieira back in the win column. Showing that she's not only good in the UFC game, also in real life. So who would have thought, dude?
Yeah, 100%. She looked good. Macy, on the other hand, I didn't think wasn't her best performance. I thought she looked pretty lackadaisical, especially
I agree.
On the feet. She couldn't do anything in the grappling, so it is what it is, though.
Definitely was a big step up, and she unfortunately did not pass it. But get back to the genre.
Dustin Jacoby, how about him though? Wow. Myself and Robbie Lopez, so this little get back from the last fight. Max is the only one to pick it right this time.
We picked a lot of different ones, at least me and you guys. You guys had a lot of the same, so I was like, damn, I have a lot of different with these guys. I'm like, we might have a big split, but it ended up being pretty close with all considering how much differences we had. It could have been even more different if we had the main event.
Dude, it could have been tie, right?
Yeah.
No, could have been. Yeah, could have been. Could have been, yeah. Could have been
tied. 5-5 if whoever won. But we'll never know.
Yeah, but Dustin Jacoby here versus Bruno Lopez gets the win via knockout round 1. Dustin just went for it right away, right out the gate. He's like, fuck you, I'm going for it. He went for it. He wobbled him, pushed him against the cage, punched him to the point where he was like almost crouching, and then he hit a nasty uppercut and then a left hand, just put Bruno out. It was really quick and just dominated him. Bruno didn't do shit. He just beat his ass. He went out there and knocked him out. It was
for real.
Here's what I'm shocked about. What the fuck was their bonus? Where was Jacoby's bonus? Wasn't that the only knockout of the night?
Yeah, this is what I have written down. I wrote in my notes, only knockout of the night, didn't get a bonus. So I was like, what? Yeah. Jacoby wasn't happy about it either. He expressed that on social media that where the hell is my bonus at? This is what I wanted to talk about. Cause for concern here in the UFC. Now, Max and I, we've ranted about this a million times about these fucking bonuses. Yeah. They can give more than 3 people. They can give more than 4 fucking people bonuses if they really wanted to. Do you guys think that if you're the only knockout of the night, that automatically gets you a bonus? Do you believe that should be the case?
I mean, basically, bro. I mean,
because like here's the thing: if everybody else went the distance, split decision, unanimous decision, draw, whatever the fuck, and
the other two, I will say the other 2 bonuses were both submission finishes in round 1. So I will say that.
Yeah. But and that's the case. If automatically the first person who got the submission of the night, they're like, all right, you're getting a bonus, buddy. Oh, you're getting this, or you're getting a fight of the night bonus for the first fight, submission bonus for the other 2. And I'm thinking to myself, he knocked him out. So if you're giving out the fight of the night bonus, the submission of the night bonus, but not knockout of the night bonus, then what? Do we just eliminate knockouts from getting a bonus? Like this weekend for the pay-per-view, let's say Sean O'Malley does pull off a massive upset and knock someone up. What? Because he was the only knockout of the night, he's not going to get a bonus? They're like, oh, I'm sorry, man. We're already paying you big money to be in the main event. You ain't getting your fucking bonus, pal. No. That's bullshit.
Yeah.
If like let's say we hosted a fight card. Let's say, you know, and I'm not gonna say. And let's say we all had a fight like separate opponents. Brady decision, you know, Max, you know, what do you call it? Knockout, me decision. Max is gonna get the fucking bonus. You know what I mean? But now let's say we go to the commission and be like, but Max doesn't deserve it. Oh, why not? Oh, because he was the only knockout of the night. What the fuck does that have to do to Pressa T in China? That's bullshit right there. That's just out of the world. So he deserved the bonus. I don't care what anyways. If you're the only knockout, or if you're the only knockout of the night, bonus. If you're 5 knockouts of the night, you gotta pick out whichever one was the most exciting one.
Yeah, I almost feel like if it's the first round finish, no matter what, it should be like a finish, bonus. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I was gonna say
they want exciting fights, and they happen, and then they don't reward them. I'm like, bro. What the fuck?
Yeah, I was going to say it depends also. In this case, 100% agree he should get the bonus. But in other cases, like maybe it also depends on the knockout. Like, was it a TKO? Was it like a little – was it like, he got the knockout, but the guy was still up and conscious and the ref jumped in, et cetera, et cetera. But no, this one, Dustin Jacoby knocked him out. Like, he was out.
Yeah, after the first round.
And quick, dominant. Like, how did he not get a bonus? I don't know. Sure. And again, I'll say it. The other 2 submissions, you want to give them a bonus? Cool. But why can't you give 4 bonuses? Why can't you give Dustin one as well? You have enough money. TKO and UFC have enough money. Pay all of them that. Just give them all. Especially on a short card like this, and we only get 3 bonuses and plus fight of the night. So 3 finishes. Give that 3 finishes the bonus and then give a fight of the night. What's so hard about that? I don't know.
For real, I almost feel like I'm like, they should just have the bonuses be different every card. I get why they don't. They like to be able to plan out their budget and shit. But, bro, every card is not built equal, bro. I'm like, sometimes there's more bonus deserving fights, bro. But then they get screwed over because, this one was also bonus worthy, but I like this one better. So you don't get any bonus. Meanwhile, some fights will get bonuses on a card that was complete shit that literally was barely even entertaining, and they'll like get a bonus, just because it was like the most exciting thing on the card. So I'm like, bro, just have some consistency. I'm like, what more do you want me to do, bro? I'm like, are you guys saying submissions are more entertaining than knockouts now? Like, what? How do 2 submissions win it over a first round knockout? I'm like, I just don't understand. I just don't get it. I'm like, the fans like the KOs the best. Let's be real, bro. I'm like, I like submissions too, but KOs are definitely the number one most eye-catching thing of the entire sport, especially for like social media and stuff. I mean, I guess maybe it was the ref cam got to him, because the ref cam was pretty cool seeing the submissions in the ref cam, I will say.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy. But dude, I'm like, more bonuses, bro. If they actually show out, they deserve a bonus, bro. I'm like, it's a crazy concept. Crazy. If you perform exceeding expectations, maybe give them a bonus. I don't know. That's just
100%. And then if you're giving bonus finishes, it just incentivizes guys to go for the finish more. So
I know. Crazy concept.
It would be Dustin Jacoby definitely deserved a bonus there. Max got a little bonus when he was the only guy to pick it, and honestly, won you the night. I'm pretty sure. Yep. So
otherwise you would have tied.
You a dub.
Yeah. So shout out to Dustin Jacoby, bro. He's one of those fighters where he may not always win every fight, but he's gonna be, pretty competitive almost every fight. He may get knocked out here and there pretty quick, but he'll always, he has dangerous weapons, and has so much experience in kickboxing and MMA where he's seen it all, dude. So I love Dustin.
Yeah, it was fun, but I will say the next one got a fight of the night bonus, deserved, because my God, that's what I said. Like, I don't think Dustin should have got a bonus over any of these guys, but he should have got a bonus in addition to these guys, because this deserves a bonus too. Ramiz Rahamaj defeated Billy Ray Golf via submission guillotine, round 1. Ramiz did get the performance bonus here. I literally wrote in my notes, "Holy Mother of God," because this was just what the hell happened? Ramirez was working that submission from the start, put him against the cage. He finally got it. He locked in that guillotine and slept Golf with a standing high elbow guillotine and just let him drop to the floor before the ref even called it. He like let go and he just flopped down and he was out. They had the ref cam and it was like right on his face, poor Golf's face. He was like mouth wide open. It was very similar to John Jones' choke back in the day when he let Lyoto Machida just drop. That was brutal. Like he choked him out.
It's like in when you play the Batman Arkham games and like Batman says, "Where is he?" and then before you can even get a question out, he just snaps your fucking neck in half. Like that's what it felt like. And when you see like when you're watching the fight live, and then you see how the cameras pan like towards where you can see Billy's left hand, he's tapping out. The referee does not see that at all.
And so when
he gets let go, it was scary. It's like an anaconda. That was like he suffocated his neck so much that when he finally let him go, the way that his head just slips back, it's like, have you guys ever seen the Alien movies? Ever?
Yeah.
It's like that. It's like when the alien gets your head and like it just keeps suffocating it the whole time, and then they finally let you go, and then you're just pale white. And it looked like we were just watching a dead body as well. Like when the camera, when the ref cam was right on Goff's freaking body, I was like, he's dead.
Yeah,
he is gone. Like there was
no sign of life right away before you.
There was no sign of life whatsoever. He was just dead right there. Wow. Yeah. Like Rami with a Z. Like it was pretty awesome. I was like, I was like, my goodness, this is crazy. And I picked Goff because I was like, you know what? He's gonna, preserve himself, get through the, wrestling, and then maybe third round we're gonna get like, that upset victory. Fuck no. Fuck no. Like that. Oh my god.
Yeah,
I explained it best. Just that choke and the way he let him go was just nasty. That was the force. Like that was the fucking force.
I think we all picked Golf because solid prospect coming up, look good.
Yeah,
has been looking good. I was excited to see what he could do, but apparently nothing against Ramirez because shit.
That he'd never been submitted ever in his career, and he gets made look like easy work with that submission, bro. So shout out to Ramirez, bro. We all got that one wrong. Very, very wrong. Another calms out like performance, though. Basically, no damage taken, chokes him out in the first round, but calms out back in the day, which we're talking. Not so much recent versus actual comp.
Yeah. But yeah, this was an L for all of us. At this point, Max was in the lead, and myself and Rami were tied going into what we assumed was the co-main event, but ended up being the main event. So the winner of this co-main / main would be second place. So it all came down to this. It was like WrestleMania main event, me and Rami. Who's taking it? Except we don't fight; these guys fight for us. We had Mateusz Gamrot defeated Ludwig Klein via unanimous decision, 30-27 across the board. Round one, Gamrot controlled Klein with the grappling, had him against the cage, dominated the first. Classic Gamrot. Round two, Gamrot gets a takedown again almost right away, dominates with the wrestling again. Klein did eventually get up. He tried to get off some shots, but didn't do much. Round three, a fun round. Finally, they stood there. They started striking. Klein was doing some solid stuff. He landed a big shot. He even wobbled Gamrot a little bit. Gamrot started to fire back on his own. Got another takedown with like a minute left. Used the ground and pound until the round ended. So Gamrot steals it here. Took all 3 rounds on every judge's scorecard and gets the win. You both picked Klein, and I am finally the one who gets a winning pick here. So yay. But yeah, I didn't doubt Gamrot. I picked Gamrot strictly because of what he did in the first and second round. I knew he was going to wrestle. I knew he's going to take him down and hold him down because that's what Gamrot does. That's his thing. Take you down, hold you down, keep you there. And that's what he did. Sadly for Klein, he couldn't get up. But what he did, like I said, round 3, he rocked him. He did good on the feet. Gamrot looked worse on the feet than Klein did, but Klein couldn't stop the takedowns. So that was really what Let's set them apart here.
Yeah.
I'm sorry to interrupt this because we're still going to continue with this. I just saw we have 175 people watching us. That's pretty cool. Not going to lie. That's kind of cool. Right now, like 175 people watching us. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, on X, we have 246 across all platforms. So shout out all 246 of you guys.
Shout out to the real ball knowers out there.
Yeah. And look, just read this ticker right here. Follow us at bodyslam.net on X, Twitter at bodyslamnet for all your pro wrestling news, results, podcasts, and editorials. And most importantly, follow BodyslamNet MMA for MMA content, live tweets. I just dropped an editorial now 2 or 3 hours ago. So go read that. It is MMA related, so check that out. Live tweets, all that stuff. So thanks for watching. We appreciate it.
Do we have any comments?
Yeah, we have one from earlier. He said howdy.
It's the same guy.
Howdy, Randy. The goat, Randy.
Shout out Randy. Randy comments every single time.
Crank his hog. Come on, Randy. Crank that hog. Come on now. Like, let's go.
Yeah, don't do that. Not on camera. Yeah, Gamrot, he got the win here. It was pretty good.
It was a class.
The commentary kind of exposed the way that Gamrot's fighting style really is. He loves the shorter cages. He loves the UFC Apex. He loves those short cages. He loves to be able to benefit off of that more than anything. That's the reason why in his last fight with Hooker, it wasn't his luck. But he came in here. It felt like it was one of those fights where they're like, here's an opponent. We wanted to get back on track, do something good with it. And Klein is not somebody that's supposed to be seen as like, oh, he's just like a stepping stool. He's just gonna for somebody to get over him and whatnot. But Gamrot's wrestling is just too elite. It's so nice. It's so nice to see him, back on the winning ways. He's had like such a story like Benoit Saint Denis, to where like. You get that loss and no one knows where you're going to go next because you're expected to be this top contender. And then when you're not, and when you're in that top 5 and other people are getting title shots over you, people automatically going to assume, yeah, he's good, but he's not good enough for a title fight. He's good enough to get that title fight. I think it's just more so about keeping up the winning ways again and adding more names behind that list. Did he make a call out on anybody after the fight? Because I went to use the restroom. So who did he call out? If I may ask,
Patty.
I like it.
See, I like that because you give us a 5-round fight between them on a pay-per-view with a pretty big cage, and Gamrot's gonna have a hard fight to study because we saw what Patty did to Michael Chandler of all people. He massacred him.
Yeah,
just destroyed him completely. So Gamrot coming in on this, he could have all the confidence in the world, like, oh, Patty's never faced a guy like me. But Patty's been using a lot of that whole like doubt, that misconstrued, like disadvantages, everything like that, to take advantage of these opponents and beat the shit out of them. I would love to see that fight happen because if Patty still has to wait for a title fight, Gamrot's right there. Gamrot took no damage. Gamrot just went in there, took down Clean and just killed him the whole time.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. I thought
made it look easy.
Made it look very easy. Happy for him. Happy to see him get back in the winning ways. And it fucking sucks because this was the co-main event, and I'm like, okay, now we got 5 more rounds to go. Of something pretty cool.
Yeah.
Fuck no.
Yeah. This was. This was to speak a little bit on Klein. He was unranked and fighting all the way up into the top 5, I believe, to fight and try to take the ranking of Gamrot. So this was from unranked all the way up. It was pretty big jump. Obviously, he didn't get the win there, but I don't know the thought process behind booking him against someone so highly ranked, but they did it, and it did not pay off for him.
Yeah, I think he was just one of those guys where, like they're saying, where he's on the come up, but now he's like 30. So now it's like, okay, they're like, we gotta see if he's legit for real. Otherwise, we're never gonna know. So
with Clean, he was on a 6-fight winning streak with 1 draw in between all of that. But I feel like they saw him as like, you know what, you're doing so well for yourself. You want to take this fight, but I've never really understood that type of stuff where you put a completely unranked guy. Yeah, he's on a 6-fight win streak, but you put a completely unranked guy against Gamera. What's he ranked again in the top 10? Like, what's he ranked?
I
think
think
he's
top
5.
5 now, but yeah, I don't know,
Pretty sure
7
he
maybe,
is 5.
7, 5.
I think he was
So
7.
we're giving a guy who's not even number 15 ranked a number
Yeah.
5 fighter. It's like
Yeah.
I've never really understood those types of situations, but it's because Gamera here, he beats clean. He beat before the Dan Hooker loss. He beat Dos Anjos, beat Rafael Fasiv, beat Jalen Turner, lost to Benil Darush, beat Armin Tsurkian, defeated Diego Ferreira, Jeremy Stevens, Scott Holtzman, and all these fights. He's only lost 3 times in the UFC. He's
Yeah.
he's proven himself. He's shown that he's a veteran. He's been in the UFC since 2025 plus years now, same as Jordan Leavitt.
Yeah,
Now,
I think
go on.
Gamrot's one of those guys where it's like no one wants to fight him because he's so hard to beat, and it's like a lot of people dog him for his style. So it's like, oh, if I lose to some guy that not a lot of people like, then it might not be good for my profile or whatever. So I think a lot of it has to do with like politics behind the scenes, where I feel like Klein must have been the only guy that wanted to step up. And I think that this matchup was I actually freaking picked Klein, obviously. So Klein was coming in here with like a 90+% takedown defense. So I'm like, Klein could have, done a better performance, but nope. Gamrot showed that he is, on that level for a reason. So yeah, dude, Gamrot he's gonna have to have someone good though. I mean, he can't fight down again because that was just too easy for him. Too easy for him. I thought Klein would be, out of all the unranked guys, I thought he'd be one of the toughest guys, but nope, way too easy. So Gamrot is still hanging around, even though he's like 35. So he's doesn't have many years, but get him in there with someone good.
With the title fight now made, Islam left. I think Gamrot Patty is
one number 1 contender.
Fight.
Totally, bro.
Could be good. But yeah, this was our co-main event that we shortly learned was our main event because after this fight, we are excited. Some of us are excited. Aaron Blanchfield, Macy Barber, top 5, top 4, going at it. Number 4, number 5. The flyweight champ, was in the building watching this fight, which I have some issue with, which I'll get into in a second.
Check out the editorial.
Yeah. They do the video package. They hype up the fight. We see the whole package. Looks like they're about to walk out, and then it goes to commentary. And commentary, Brendan Fitzgerald says, Macy Barber is not ready to walk right now. And he specifically said she's not ready to walk right now. So I was in my head thinking, did she have to go to the bathroom?
Yeah,
did she
joking about it?
Gloves? Yeah, was she's not ready to walk right now. We wait 10 minutes. Okay, now she's ready to walk. Here we go. Well, then 3 or so minutes after that, they're like, actually, the fight's off. She can't fight. It's canceled. So then it's like, okay, medical issues is what we heard. And then they interview Aaron Blanchfield, and she says that she heard Macy had a seizure. I will say I do not know how accurate that is because the commentary said she was ready to walk but had to turn around and go back to her locker room. This is coming from someone I've had 3 seizures in my lifetime. You don't just walk away from a seizure. You don't.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if either she got wrong information, Aaron, or if the commentary got wrong information. So I have no idea if she actually had a seizure. We know she was taken to the hospital. She posted pictures of her stretchered out and in a hospital bed. But when she was stretchered out, she was conscious and looking around yeah, I'm here. I'm just obviously something was wrong. And then she made a post. She didn't really speak on what actually was wrong. It almost sounded like she didn't even know what was wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
So, I don't really know. As of we're 2 days removed, and we still don't know why that fight was canceled. They
haven't said anything about it. They've just said it's off, basically. So like you said, maybe they don't even know. So it's just unfortunate situation.
We know Max. We talked about she's had medical issues in the past.
Yeah.
Because she did miss weight for this fight by half a pound.
Yeah.
But she did miss weight. So she's had some issues in the past. I don't know if this maybe gets resolved and she comes back, or if she just never comes back, because if you keep having medical issues, then it's just like, I'm just done.
Like, this is not the right career for that, unfortunately, where it's like, dude, this is tough on the body as is. If you're already having issues already, then it's dangerous, though. It's like, it makes me happy that as much as I wanted to see the fight, it makes me happy it didn't happen, because I'm like, what if a medical emergency happened mid-fight,
Yeah.
Then it could be potentially life-threatening, or even if it's not life-threatening, then Blanchfield
no one wants to see that on TV.
Just beat up someone that's having a health event if she tries to go in on it. So, so that would just be bad all around. So I'm glad that it did not happen, because that would be terrible if it happened any time later when they're already fighting. Then it could have been even more of a disaster. So
yeah,
it's just a crazy, sad situation for all people involved. No one gets paid. Macy has to go to the hospital with no pay, so I'm sure she's having to freaking pay for that herself. I don't know how that works with the UFC, but yeah. And then Blanchfield was clearly pissed, but she's like, "This is unprofessional. I want to get my money. Let me have her." Yeah. I was like, "God damn, Aaron is pissed, bro."
Yeah, I mean, they asked her.
I see why she was mad with the weight miss, but then I'm like, "Damn, no."
Yeah, you can't control this. What the fuck? She called her own professional because of this. You can't control that. But she also did ask if she would contemplate rebooking the fight, and she said no. She said, I do not want to fight her again. I will not fight her again. I will not rebook this fight. She's unprofessional. Don't want to do it. Like, I wouldn't consider Macy Barber unprofessional for having a medical emergency that moves you out of the fight. Like, she can't.
I would just say unreliable to actually show up to
unreliable
the fight having health issues. Exactly. Not
because
her own fault,
Because in fairness to Erin Blanchfield, she did call this. She said days earlier, I struggle to see how she makes it to the fight. I don't think she's going to make it to the fight, et cetera, et cetera.
She must have known.
And then she made it to the fight, but then once the fight was about to start, then she didn't make it. So Erin was cooking. She knew something.
She knew something we didn't know, because those health issues must have been worse than must have been rumors going around that it was because Macy had been out for a while, so I was excited to see her back. But yeah, hopefully she can get that figured out, dude. Hopefully she's okay and able to fight again. But if not, hey, fighting's not everything. You can probably do something else really good too. So health is first.
And then I do want to say this, like, for the future of the division, they did say that Aaron honestly should get a title fight, but if that's not the case, you know what I mean. But like, I was thinking to myself this, like, her last loss was to Manon Farrow, who lost to Valentina Shevchenko recently. I would still like to see Aaron, fight one more fight before they do eventually give her a title fight, because in the last 6 fights, she's 6-1. So she's worked up a pretty good streak. She went from Victor to the UFC. She's done a great job and whatnot. But it's really all about, like, how the division. Why do you keep shaking your head? You keep shaking your damn head. All I see when I'm talking is,
bro, Brady doesn't support what you're saying, I guess.
He never supports
I'm not fucking
anything.
I'm not fucking with it.
He never supports me.
He just likes Natalia Silver. He's waiting for the silver rant.
I'll explain here. So this pissed me off because UFC does this shit constantly, where we're seeing with Ilya and Islam, they're just taking their titles away if they want to move up or fight for another belt. So I guess that's good to not hold up a division. But this whole thing pissed me off. This, even before the fight was even canceled, it was already pissing me off, because Valentina Shevchenko goes to this fight to watch Barber and Blanchfield, who were ranked number 4 and number 5. I repeat, ranked number 4 and number 5. And she's saying, this could be my potential next title challenger. Why? There is a number 1 contender, a clear, undefeated number 1 contender, who beat the former champion on the same card that Valentina Shevchenko beat Manon on. Natalia Silva has not lost in the UFC. She deserves next. How are they overlooking her? I genuinely don't understand, because on UFC 315, when Natalia Silva beat Grasso, everyone was like, she's next, she's next, she's next, she's the one, she's next. After Valentina Shevchenko beat Manon at the press conference, oh, Natalia Silva's next. Then suddenly, 10, 20 days later, Natalia Silva isn't even being talked about. How? What changed in those 20 days that now, Aaron Blanchfield or Macy Barber could be next? And then the fight gets canceled, and then they go on the fucking post show, and they're like, actually, Wei Lee's next. Wei Lee's going to move up from strawweight, and we're going to have a champion versus champion fight. Okay, well, then on the flip side of that, if that happens, is Wei Lee going to drop the strawweight title like the men are doing? Because you have Vina Jandiroba, who's down there, number one in the strawweight, who's looking to get a title fight. So then, is she going to fight for a vacant title against someone else? Why? Why are we doing this super fight? Don't get me wrong. I said this in the editorial. I'll spoil it right now. I don't care. I would not complain about seeing a Valentina Shevchenko versus Wei Lee fight. I wouldn't. That's a great fight. I'm all for it. But not right now. I hate when they move up and fight people when their divisions are not cleared out. We said it with Islam. We said it with Taporia when he wanted to go up and fight Islam, and then the whole thing got switched, but that's a whole different discussion. We've even said it with John Jones. If you're not going to fight Tom, take the fucking title off Jones and let Tom fight someone else for the title. Why is it all of a sudden with Wei Lee and Shevchenko, oh, it's okay, we want to see a title for title? Dana's like, yeah, I want it. Dana White himself, who's bitched about not doing champion versus champion without cleaning division, is like, yes, let's do Wei Lee versus Shevchenko. Why? Natalia Silva's right there, bruh. If she beats Silva and Wei Lee beat Bina, then sure, do it. Because Blanchfield is obviously going to have to fight again because she didn't fight Barber here. She has a loss to Manon, who Shevchenko beat. So, okay, if she beats Natalia Silva, then do the super fight. But there is a clear-cut, clean number one contender standing right in front of everyone's faces, and it's like she's invisible. I don't get it. I genuinely 100%. Don't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what my rant was about on my written article, because it's like, why are you doing this super fight? Because how pissed would people be if John Jones did a super fight with Magomed Ankalaev right now, lightweight champion? And everyone's like, well, what about John Jones versus Tom Aspinall? Why aren't you doing that? Tom deserves a fight. Okay, then why isn't it the same energy when we have Wei Lee Shevchenko and Natalia Silva's right there? Like, oh my God, it pissed me off. And then the Wei Lee situation is another thing. But for them to actually say that Blanchfield versus Barber could be the next when they're 4 and 5 and she's 1, like what is happening? What is actually going on? I don't get it. I do not get it. So from this point forward, Aaron Blanchfield, you're going to fight someone else. You're on my shit list now. Valentina Shevchenko, you're on my shit list until Natalia Silva gets a title fight. And Wei Lee is my favorite female fighter. But you are now on my shit list. If you jump in front
Don't bring her into this.
Silva, no. If she jumps in front of Silva,
you didn't mention one thing. You mentioned how you're like, what happened last 10 days? I'll tell you. I took a nap. But that's besides the point. But no, what I agree with you.
Dreaming about Natalia Silva being the next UFC flyweight champion.
No, because I want to say this. If they allow Silva to fight Shevchenko loses. She dealt with the struggles of Manon Fiorot with the wrestling.
Exactly.
Now, if you deal with the struggles of a pure jabber like Silva is, she keeps the distance with a fucking teep kick, and she keeps the distance with a jab. Valentina will not be able to wrestle her for 5 rounds, and she'll probably even get finished. That's the reason why they're scared. That's the reason why they're trying to skip over this and allow Valentina to keep the gold, go up the weight class, screw over another division, and then have both divisions being held up. Aaron Blanchfield, I will say, her, Jasmine Vicious, and Natalia Silva are the only women right now in the top 10 who have actual streaks, who have actual reasons to fight for the championship. Number 2 for Manon Fiorot, lost. Number 3, Alexis Grasso, lost. Number 5, Macy Barber, we saw that situation. Rose Namajunas, we saw that situation. Vivian Arajo, Jessica Andrade, Tracy Cortez, Miranda Maverick, all those names don't really stand out, have pizzazz.
Yeah.
People think, oh, this should have a title fight. Jasmine does. Natalia does. Aaron Blanchfield does. But look how many of those names are going to get a title fight. Silva, she'll get it if she has to constantly make a petition and beg for it, which you shouldn't. You destroyed Alexa Grasso in your last fight. You've destroyed everybody.
Yeah,
Since
yeah.
since you
You
started
know
your
who else is
career.
on that list? You know who else is on that list? Jessica Andrade, Natalia Silva beat. Jasmine Jasnovicius, Natalia Silva has beat. Alexa Grasso, like you said, she's dominated. Bro, how she beat former champion after former champion, and now she's not even getting a title fight because you want to do Wei Lee. And Rami, I agree with you, but I did not write it in my article because I can't prove it. But I do think that they don't want her to fight Natalia Silva before the Wei Lee because they think she's going to lose. Because if she loses, then the Wei Lee fight's done. Then you don't have a super fight because she's not champion anymore. So I do agree that they think, damn, Natalia Silva could beat her. So we want to do the super fight first to get it over with. But then in that flip side, what if Wei Lee wins?
Too.
Then you got to do Wei Lee versus.
I feel like they want to do the super fight. They want to announce a super fight, like they'll both be champions. But the thing is this: they're gonna announce if they do announce this fight. I feel like the week of the fight, they're gonna strip Valentina of the championship and say, "Oh, and here's Silva versus either Jasmine or freaking Baron Banchfield."
They have to strip Wei Lee. Wei Lee would be the one moving up.
Wei Lee moves up to.
Yeah, strawweight's 115, flyweight's 125.
Yeah, you're right. They do that. They have to strip like Wei Lee of the championship or strip Valentina of the championship, whichever way that you go with it. You're essentially fucking over a lot of the women who have worked their asses off. Wei Lee's a legend, Valentina a legend, but these women are coming up. No one told Amanda Nunes, yeah, great job on getting that Miesha Tate fight, but. We have somebody else. We have Ronda Rousey back. Let's go have her fight Miesha Tate at UFC 200. No one fucking said that. They just let Nunes kill her, and then they booked Nunes and Rousey because the division was moving. The division was going forward. It was progressing. People needed that GOAT. They needed that queen of the division, and that was Nunes. That's how we get these situations. Wei Lee was the queen of the division. Valentina, queen of the division. But times are getting past. People are moving past the prime. People are moving past the career. They don't want to be in the octagon forever. And then when you have Silva, who's killing everybody in her path, and then you're like, it's like Pereira as well. Imagine Pereira was killing all these people, finally got to Adesanya, and they're like, we love this, but we don't fucking want it. We want Izzy versus John Jones. Let's keep pushing that fight. Nobody fucking cares. So it's just the UFC with their just nonstop bullshit that they keep feeding us. And
but
we're not gonna fight.
Say this.
I'm glad none of us are fighting with each other, like fucking throwing blows, shadow boxing, because I think Max would win. But that's besides the point.
One thing I will say. Like you said, Brady, I wouldn't complain if it happened. I'm like, if anything, I feel like if Zhang won, then I'd be like, okay, this might be the ideal situation. Where if Zhang beats,
I was gonna say I wouldn't mind Wei Lee versus Silva.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I'm like, if Zhang loses, then I'm like, okay, then I'm like, okay, I start thinking, man, Wei Lee versus Silva would be great. But on the flip side of that, if Wei Lee wins, then they got to give Valentina a rematch. Then Silva's waiting a whole nother year, sitting out waiting, maybe more at this point. Yeah.
So it's like, oh my God, this fucking so annoying, dude. Stop overlooking her.
Either do a real number one contender fight and stop being like all these. They'll be like, oh, Silva and Grasso could be a number one contender. Like this one could be the number one contender fight, and then it'll be like another fight happens, so it's another 2 top 5 people. They'll be like, this could be a number one contender fight. I'm like, they keep always just fucking teasing us with such bullshit. They'll be like, this could be fighting for the title up next week. This could be a title eliminator, guys. Here we go. I'm like, but then they never actually do what they say, bro. I'm like, come on, guys. I'm like, we're starting to see the pattern where you guys just say things at title eliminators just so people will be trying to sell the fight.
I will say this. I want to say this. Let's say God bless that this weekend we don't have to deal with the Apex. We get to actually see an arena full of people.
Let's go.
And actually enjoy some great fucking fights.
I get to actually be in the
so
arena.
Brady will be there.
I'm going to my first ever UFC fight this Saturday. I'm very
excited. If any of the viewers are there, and you see a really cute dude, it could be Brady. Say hi.
If you see Brady, beat his ass for me. Just knuckle him up. Knuckle him up for me.
No, how about give him a kiss
buy me some food or something. Buy me
Buy him a fucking drink. The UFC is probably taxing on him. I've never
Exactly,
been,
it's
so
pretty
I don't know.
expensive as fuck. So this will be my first time, but I'm very sure, just like all other sports, it's going to be expensive. So buy me something. But yeah, we ended up me with. Well, we'll start with Rami 3-6 in laps. then me at 4-5, and then Max is number 1 at 5-4. Short card, 9 fights, so we didn't do so hot. Max takes the win though.
So I need to do like a head-to-head leaderboard for this, so we can see who actually has won not only the most fights, but also who does the best head-to-head.
That's what she said.
I think right now it's 2-1.
I was thinking the same thing, but I was like, I'm gonna just put it past my head. I don't want to say it, but
get your head out of the gutter, guys.
It was Romney's fault. I blame him. Yeah, but Max overall is the only person that not only won but got like a winning record here.
Goes to show you how smart we are, guys. We are ball knowers.
Yeah, bet on.
It's the apex, though. Like Rami was saying when we were talking off camera, the apex is the hardest ones to say, so it's just kind of random.
For real, especially when shit's changed. I'll just be fully honest. When shit's changing and there's fighters that are like jumping in and people who have never fought in UFC before and they're making quick like
it's hard to predict.
It's like I don't even know. I never even seen this guy, so I don't.
Yeah.
So
yeah. Hey, I'd say we'll be back better next week, 100%. I say that with 100% confidence. We'll all be above 500 next week.
And speaking of next week, let's take a look at what we're in store for right here. Now, I will say before that UFC is dumb and doesn't update their website. Now, I'll explain that in a second. But we do have UFC 316 headlined by Merab Dvalishvili versus Sean O'Malley. 2. They fought at the Spear.
Yeah.
They fought at the Spear. Merab got the win, won the belt. Since then, defeated Umar. Retained, and Sean, this is his first fight back. Sean not only said, but I proved that he went in with a very badly injured hip, but he did get surgery, and that has been fixed. So maybe we get a little bit of a different fight here.
Also, another thing I want to say, another thing about Sean is that he stopped smoking weed for this camp, and he's been training with Demetrius Johnson. So that should be a big boost to his wrestling abilities and maybe his defense as well.
Yeah, I feel like this is a crossroads for Sean. I'm like, if he actually does better, we'll see if that injury was actually true, or if it's the same bullshit, then I feel like a lot of the people might start to turn on him and be like, start shit talking even more than he already gets. You know what I'm saying? He's kind of polarizing already. So if he doesn't go out there and improve after he said, "Oh, it was the hip, it was the sphere," his coach was saying the lighting in the sphere, some of those were just inches off. I'm like, okay, now you better be doing better in this next fight, bro. I'm like, no sphere, no hip, no excuses, bro. So I'm excited for that main event.
Yeah, we do. It is live from the Prudential Center in Newark, New Jersey, and it is kicking off the main card at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So back to a later card here. Like I said, Merab versus Sean in the main event for the bantamweight title. Sean is a plus 260 underdog. We then have the women's bantamweight title bout in our co-main event, where the champion, Juliana Pena versus Kayla Harrison, the champ, Pena, is a plus 455 underdog, which is pretty crazy. We then have East Coast's own Joe Piper taking on Kelvin Gastelum. Kelvin, underdog here. Interesting. We then have Mario Batista, number 10, who was supposed to fight Chito Vera. Chito pulled out due to injury, I believe. And now the debuting Patchy Mix, former Bellator champion, dominant champion, coming over to the UFC to make his debut. I'm very excited for this. He's coming in, no odds for that one there. We then have, kicking off the main card, Vicente Luque, number 14, versus unranked Kevin Holland in the welterweight division. Interesting that Vicente Luque is the plus 185 underdog here. Kevin's got better on the ground, so we'll see that. We then have, I'm excited for this one, prelim headliner, number 12, Bruno Silva versus number 14, Josh Van. Silva is plus 410 underdog. Van always brings the fight. I'm excited for this to be a good one. Yeah, very fun. We then have this one, which give me a second here because this fight is not happening. This is what I said. UFC does not update their shit, and it's
Wait,
annoying. But I
we're
do
not
have.
we're not getting Johnny Walker on the card.
You are absolutely not. He pulled out.
Fuck!
God damn.
This fight is actually Azamat Murzakanov versus Bredesen Ribeiro. So Bredesen Ribeiro is taking on Azamat.
Okay.
We then have Sergey Spivak versus Waldo Cortez Acosta. This is legit. I'm excited to see Waldo. Should be cool. We then have Chaos Williams versus Uros Medic. This is also not happening. Did not update. Medic is out, and then another guy was in, and then he was out, and now we have him versus Marquel Medeiros, who was supposed to fight this past Saturday. He stepped in and will fight Chaos this upcoming Saturday. We then have Ariane De Silva versus Wang Kong. Excited for this. Wang Kong, hey, didn't look too hot last time, but before that, she got a very quick knockout. So hopefully that can happen again. We have Jeka Saragi, I hope I said that right, versus Ju Sang Yu coming in. We then also have Quinlan Salikid versus Yanao Ajmus. Quinlan, what was that last fight in Australia? I can't remember the pay-per-view, but he got a quick knockout, looked pretty good. And there is another fight on this card, which, see if I can find it here, that UFC added very late. Let me see here. It was I apologize. So I got the two mixed up. Chaos Williams will fight Andreas Gustafsson, who was supposed to fight. And then we have Marquel Medeiros will take on Mark Joinski in that fight.
I'm glad Chaos is still fighting.
That fight will be added, and then Chaos will fight Gustafsson. So that should be a good fight, though. So, yeah, there's a mix-up from this past week's card bled into this week. So hopefully, fingers crossed, there's no cancellations or anything else. Hopefully, this is the card. That's it, period. And it's fingers freaking crossed the main event doesn't get canceled last second, too, because that'd be terrible.
Don't even put that energy out there.
6 p.m. prelim for the early prelim, 8 p.m. for the main prelim, both on ESPN, ESPN Plus. Or actually, no, this is just on ESPN Plus. This is on ESPN, ESPN Plus, and this is on pay-per-view. If that main event gets canceled when I'm in the crowd, I'm getting in the cage. So you will see me in the cage if that main event gets
canceled.
canceled.
O'Malley. Although actually, O'Malley would probably pull out. So fight Merab.
No, I'm not fighting Merab. Me and John.
Yes, I'm only fighting John Anik.
Yeah, me and John Anik can roll around.
Take over his job. No, take over Minty Betts' job.
Yeah,
don't fire her.
Hey. Maybe we should get Minty Betts on this podcast because she picks about as good as we do. But yeah, it should be a fun one next week. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, follow wherever you're at. We have obviously down here you can see Bodyslam Net MMA for our mixed martial arts content news, live results. There won't probably be live tweeting this week because I'll be there. And I'm not going to sit there in the live crowd and live tweet the card, but I will for sure post some videos and stuff from the arena. So maybe some walkouts or something like that. Hopefully the connection as well. We'll see. But yeah, I plan on putting some sort of content out. So check that out on Bodyslam Net MMA Twitter, and also Bodyslam Net on Twitter as well for everything else, and on all other platforms. If you're watching this, Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, etc., make sure to follow, like, comment, give us all a follow. Me at Brady Fight Talk, Max at Combat Convos, and Rami over here at Who Else But Rami. You can follow us on Twitter only. Don't follow us anywhere else except Rami. Pretty sure you can follow him except everywhere except Facebook.
Don't say that. Don't say that. I made it clear for 2 weeks. Don't add me on that shit.
But yeah, we have some stuff coming out. Rami might have some interviews coming out. I dropped an article today about Natalia Silva, but I already ranted about it, so you don't really need to read it. But if you want to, go ahead. So I dropped that. Like I said, news every day, as well as results, articles, and stuff like that. So make sure to check that out. We will be back probably Monday again next week because I got a pretty long drive on Sunday night. So we will see how that goes. And yeah, let's hope next week our picks are better. And let's hope it's a good card because I'm looking forward to it. So
you see, I want to say this though, because Max brought up how we should all tell each other our picks and then pick the best ones and whatever. Why didn't we do that for this one for the fucking Apex shit card? You know what I mean? Like that would have been perfect.
I couldn't agree with you guys.
We could have all been perfect.
I wasn't liking what I was seeing. Now we all went with Goff. We would have disagreed.
No. I would have disagreed. If you guys would have won with Klein, I'm picking Gamrot. I would have disagreed with you guys. I was going Gamrot.
We all couldn't agree. We'd all start yelling at each other.
When we start fighting.
There you go. I'll find a way to convince you.
But yeah, make sure also obviously to go to our sponsor, Shroombar, at www.eatshroombar.com. Use code Bodyslam at checkout for 25% off your first order. Like I said, Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, follow us there. And yeah, we'll see you guys next Monday for UFC 316. Oh hell yeah!
Let's fucking go.
Fingers crossed Sean or Marab walk out to Stone Cold's theme song or at least have a shirt on because that needs to happen. Maybe Austin's in the crowd. Maybe he's in the crowd. Who knows? But yeah, we'll see next week. Should be a good one. And we'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.